And you must be wondering that why we are studying these chapters. In these chapters, we will not be discussing in audit procedures. We will not be discussing in auditing standards. And then you may say that why is a part of the auditings. This chapter 11, Audit Committee and Corporate Governance, in fact, it's a part of overall risk assessments. It's a part of SA 315, assessment of audit risk considering the entity environments. This Audit Committee and Corporate Governance prescribes the entity environment. It's a part of the entity environment. It's a part of total governance of the companies. And this entity environment, Audit Committees and Corporate Governance, you have to study during the year this SA 315. It says that you assess the audit risk considering the entity environment. And Audit Committee and Corporate Governance is a part of the entity environment. What you have to do, you should have a knowledge of it. How do you assess it? Unless you know what is Audit Committee, unless you know that what is the corporate governance, what does it means, what are the functions of this Audit Committee, how they function, what they do. Only this type of knowledge of this entity environment is given in this chapter 11. Otherwise, whenever the questions will come, it will not ask that how to audit it. What are the audit procedure you will be applying for it? You may not be giving a report on that one. But it's a part of the entity environment. And to make a better risk assessment, to make our audit effective, you must know the Audit Committee and Corporate Governance. So we want to give a knowledge of the business only, the knowledge of the governance, the knowledge of entity environments and controls. With this respect, with this context, we are discussing it. We are not discussing it as audit procedures. We are not discussing it as audit principles. We are not discussing it for purpose of producing a report, for a purpose of giving a report on the audit committees. So we just want to understand it to assess the risk of the entity environment, to know what this is so that we can make our audit techniques, audit strategy more effective. So what is the meaning of audit committee? Dear student, you are visiting a number of audits, particularly of the listed companies. And there you must be always discussing and people will be talking about the audit committees. By this time, I am sure you must be knowing, you have confronted with some of the audit committees members. The client may be asking you, yes, please finish up our audit. Our audit committee meeting is so and so on date. So you are well versed with this, the word of audit committees. And what is this audit committees? Audit committee is considered as an extended arm to assist. To assist whom? Board of Directors. Board of Directors is responsible for the governance. Board of Directors is overall responsible for governance of the company. And it in itself, it cannot govern each and everything because there are so many technical issues there. So what the Board of Directors does? They make a different committees. They say, Audit Committee 1, instead of Board of Directors doing itself that work, they make one technical committee that is called Audit Committee. They may constitute one other committee that is called a Remuneration Committee. They will look after the remuneration of the employees and all people. They may constitute the another committees called Grievances Committees. They have a committee of the Social Responsibility Committees. So many committees. It is just like there is a Prime Minister of India, he cannot handle each and every department. He is the ultimate responsibility, he is the ultimate responsible person in case of a democratic country in India. But because he cannot do every work himself, that's why he has appointed so many ministers. It is just like here. For governance of the company, the board of directors is responsible. Board of directors, if it is responsible for the all work of the companies, so what it does, that it cannot do himself all these works because it requires some technicality somewhere, and that's why it constitutes some committees of those members who are technically qualified in that particular field. So audit committee is an extended arm to assist the board of directors.